Well, we're going to do a airboat tour this morning. Got all signed up, getting the equipment ready to go. Gonna run out into the swamp. And not sure which one of the airboats we're gonna take, but it's gonna be about an hour. So we'll just go do it.
Powered by a 350 Chevy engine.
Oh wow.
Yeah, kind of a high performance model, so it puts out about 325 horse. And then we gear it down 2-to-1 to that propeller.
Just a 2-to-1.
2-to-1 gear on it. So the engine goes around twice, the propeller goes around once. Makes for a right fun toy.
How exciting.
Yeah. Best way to get on one of these is go ahead and step right on the seat.
Okay.
It's a small boat and it is going to wiggle. Perfectly fine. Sit in front if you want. You ever been airboating before?
Never.
All right, we can all learn together.
Wonderful.
Don't have the foggiest notion of what's going on.
So I'm just going to go out there and make up a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's great. That's great. And we'll take that information home and tell everyone.
Yeah, and when they start laughing real hard, you're going to wonder what I told you. Bunch of alligators laying out on this side on these grassy areas.
On this side.
There's below one in the water, it looks like right there. Now the way you actually measure a gator in the water is you measure from their nostrils to right between their eyes. Every inch is a foot of alligator. And this pond we're in was actually dug. It was dug to get fill for the road, same with the canal on the other side. They weren't digging a canal, they were building a road. It's just how they got the fill. This is the deepest water we'll be in, and it's about knee deep. I have a cheat sheet of the birds there in that front locker if you're interested in knowing any of the names of them. Yeah, well, I think we'll head out of the pond and go see what we can find.
Perfect.
And we're first run of the day, so as we go into some of these places, keep your eye open on how clean the water is. Yeah. It's just amazingly clear until the boat. A lot of what we'll be running in is 6 inches or less.
Wow.
was saying, we're first run out this morning, so I think I'm going to do a little more run time than normal and whip in some of these bays and see if we can't find an alligator.
Oh, wonderful.
And if I don't see one, I'm not even going to shut the engine off and head out, unless you guys want to know about something.
Okay, this is a real thrill.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's getting warmed up, I'll start kicking in the 4-barrel.
Hey!
Just what we want.
Thumbs up, I thought you wanted to go faster.
Ah, absolutely. Yeah, you're doing wonderful.
Anyway,
How deep's the water here?
oh, about 8, well, it must be 8 inches. We're still floating.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be shallow, I mean, it's shallowing up. Water is optional for this thing.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You know your grass in the morning with the dew on it?
Uh-huh.
That's way more than enough. I'm serious. It'll
just
drive right
go.
around your yard.
Right.
Get this thing moving good, and it'd go down a blacktop road.
I
You're
bet.
kidding.
Might
The
not
bottom would never last.
be, no,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah,
bad
but
on the bottom.
It would physically do it. Anyway, these are the red mangrove trees, and they're actually protected by law here in Florida. It's illegal to cut this brush down, even on your own private property. Best you can do is get a permit to prune it about once a year. Anyway, but that root system makes a great habitat for small gators to hide from big gators, and it's also one of the few plants that will actually filter salt out of the water. Come on, come on, come on up here. Come on,
Come on up.
come on.
Our friend, the alligator.
I'm gonna get up here where my odds are better.
Oh,
Now I'm not just one, I'm 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3, yeah.
Come on up, come on.
Oh, fingers, he said. Yum.
Oh, look.
You had stress in your life.
Oh, jeez. Look at that. Look at
Ever
that.
been up close and personal to an alligator?
Never.
Now you notice how white the inside of that mouth is?
Yeah.
That is actually how an alligator gets about 90% of its food. That can't be good. I'm new at the job. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just read a couple books. Anyway, no, but with that white mouth, what they do is they swim around a little pond like this, and they'll go sit on the bottom with that mouth open. To fish, frogs, and snakes, that looks like clear water, and they literally swim right into it.
Oh, jeez.
And they got a reflex. Anything touches the inside of their mouth, it just slams shut. Gator of this size probably's got, I don't know, 1,500 pounds of close pressure.
Ooh.
But yet you can hold its mouth shut with one hand. Also, the gator's teeth constantly keep growing, and they'll get a real big one after a while and hook it on something and tear it right out, and they just grow a new tooth like a shark does. Do that over and over again. Seems a little better than having to get crowns like we do, huh?
Look how white his teeth are.
Yeah.
He brushes them every morning.
Yeah.
Human hair.
The gator has 2 eyelids, a clear membrane they'll use underwater. I'll try to splash a little water up there. You can usually see it. There,
Yeah.
you see that? Anyway, they use that underwater, and then they got a regular eyelid like we do. They do have excellent hearing. Their ears are located right behind their eyes there. You can kind of see a little slit.
And this guy lives right here.
Well, no, male gators tend to roam around. And I know that's a male gator because of that bulky neck. Big fat neck there is a sign of a male. He's also a good 8 feet long, and females will rarely get over 8 feet.
Wow.
A baby gator grows a foot a year for the first 6 years. And then after that, males continue to grow at about 1 inch a year, and females grow to about 8 feet, but they got to be in their mid to late 20s before they do that. So you'll never find a female alligator cops to being more than 29.
Okay.
Now, male gators, like I said, they continue to grow 1 inch a year throughout their whole life, and when you do the math, 10-foot alligators 52 to 55 years old. They can live to be 80 to 100. Son of a bitch!
Is that
this. You
You
guys
gotta put it in the drink.
better head for a casino, buddy. I'm serious. That's a 1 in a million.
1 in a million shot, huh?
Kid you not. We usually get 2 or 3 hats a day.
Yeah.
Why do you think we sell them here?
Yeah.
I felt I needed to keep it on in order to keep from messing my hair up.
Yeah.
Best one I heard of was a guy that tried wearing a toupee out here.
Oh.
Yeah, I understand it looked like a dead rat in the cage.
Yeah. In the cage.
All right, Ian.
Ah, what's that? Oh, what fun. What is that?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, don't break.
Whoa!
Okay.
What are we looking
That's how
at?
we stopped that Volkswagen, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an alligator nest right in front of us.
Huh.
Female alligator builds that out of grass and small twigs, whatever she can find, and leaves. Anyway, typically alligators breed in April, lay their eggs in there about the 1st of June, and they'll hatch out around the 1st of August. Warmer eggs at the top of the nest become males, and the colder eggs at the bottom of the nest become females.
Huh.
Yeah, explains a lot, doesn't it?
Right.
Now, dear old Dad, a female gator, when they mature, they'll stay to about an acre of land their whole life. Now, Dad, on the other hand, he kind of tends to roam around. He'll roam around as many as 15 or 20 females. Because once he finds one, he knows where to come back. So he roams around in April, breeds with all the ones I'll let him, and then about the end of August, he'll come back and eat about 90% of the young. Kids ready yet. A lot of times there's a mom and still has a couple babies that hang out there up against those mangroves. today, she'll probably stay there all day. Now she's just getting up on the bank this morning, okay? And I know that because look at all the mud on her back. But she did last night due to the fact it was a cold night to her and her boyfriend wasn't around. She just buried up in the mud. She probably had 4 or 5 inches of mud over her whole back last night because she dug down in the mud to stay warm. Kind of on a recon mission.
That's right. We appreciate it.
It's only 6 inches deep here.
Oh, so we're
the boat's just stirring the muck.
Okay,
and it
so
is
pushing
muck.
The bottom up.
It is real soft.
I was thinking if that was an alligator, it's the biggest one in the world. Cause it was
yeah.
Coming up all over it.
I mean, the boat's barely floating.
Right.
That's baby shrimp.
Shrimp, oh.
It's raining in front of the boat.
Yeah.
I recently learned this, that shrimp come up here from the Gulf of Mexico.
Huh.
The Everglades are basically a river, although you think of it as a swamp. But this is all fresh water. It's rainwater that's falling here. And
there's something jumps clear out of the water.
Minnows. Little fish. Life in the food chain for them. Anyway, this is all fresh water. It's rainwater. And it is flowing at a ½ mile to a mile a day into the Gulf of Mexico. Just most of us don't think of a river as 90 miles wide and 1.5 feet deep.
Sure.
You know, but that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Did we run them over?
No, I just went by them. I managed to miss them. I wouldn't come back if I ran them over.
Oh, okay.
They're not in a good mood.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah. It's funny how you learn some of this stuff.
There you go.
Another male out roaming. I'll last to him yet. When I was first getting trained here, and I'd ride with the captains, and then they'd show me. Another thing I haven't let you in on is all these trails are one way.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you can see where that could be handy, especially with 6 boats running around.
Right.
And we are on 10 square miles of privately owned land, so I don't have to worry about any other boats. And in fact, I've heard stories of guys getting caught in here, you know what I mean? When they didn't know, yada yada. You can't own the water. Well, last week that happened.
Oh,
Captain just about, I mean, he just barely missed a guy in a canoe.
Oh, wow.
And why the cop was handcuffing him and charging him with felony trespassing, reckless endangerment charges, he was arguing that you can't own the water.
Mm-hmm.
Open for a little one in here. We see one about, I think, 2.5 feet long overall. Now, you hear the word hammock used a lot down here. Now, this is a hammock. It's about 1.5 to 2 feet higher ground than average out here. Anywhere else in the world, you'd call it an island.
Uh-huh.
There again, we're in the south, so it's called a hammock.
It's not a hummock, it's a hammock.
Yeah. Anyway, and that plant with the red berries on it there, that's actually Brazilian pepper. Now, the way I hear the story about that is one lady back in the 1920s brought one plant back from Brazil, stuck it in her yard, gave a few starts away to some of her friends. Anyway, it's now been 80 years, and the county now spends over $100,000 a year trying to get rid of it.
having any fun, Paul?
Hey, now watch your hands. Don't get them pinched between the dock and the boat. Just stay seated. Let me get both lines.
Well, pay attention. Oh, dear. What fun. Don't look at the alligator right here.
Yeah.
Look out, alligator! Look at the little shrimp jump.
Don't worry.
Okay.
So we'll just...
I gotta get back here so I can get fuel.
That was wonderful, Dale.
And one more thing I got you guys can do.
Yeah.
Jump up there in the big chair and get some pictures.
Ah, great.
For better lying to your friends when you get back home.